Shut up, listen up, everybody, what up? Gonna put it in a podcast, boost, what's up? We talk, we laugh, we sing, we dance, we'll do anything if you give us a chance. We'll play one time, it'll help us out. All truth, no lies, no, it's never a doubt. If you like rants, tirades, and honest opinions, we shoot from the hip and we're here with precision. Give us one chance to play Opinion Bros podcast.
And welcome to a whole new episode of Los Pino Bros podcast. I am Armando, one of the three Pino Bros. I am here joined by
Mr. Pina Zombie
and Alberto 333.
And today we're going to talk about probably one of the best animated movies of all time, or at least in my opinion.
The Iron Giant.
Spider-Man.
Oh.
Yes. Oh my God, so good. Oh God.
Yeah.
Superman.
Oh God. Fuck you. Might as well call him Zeppo or something.
Hey, you champ.
Where you going?
Yeah. Yeah. We're just gonna quote the Iron Giant for the next 2 hours and a half. But no, so we're gonna talk about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. But before we talk about that, I just want to say right now, I know I've been telling you guys to watch this show, and I know you guys don't watch anything I tell you guys. But then again, I don't do anything you tell me. So, but they renewed Superman and Lois for a final season, which, if you've been keeping up with the CW, they got sold to Nexstar or whatever, some crappy reality thing or whatever. So they canceled a bunch of shows like the Winchesters, the Walker, Independence. They've been canceling all those CW shows, right? They canceled like Stargirl. Superman Lois was one of the it's about to finish its season finale, and it's been one of the outliers. Like no one's is it gonna be picked up? Is it not? Is it gonna end this season? And Superman and Lois has been one of the consistently best written superhero shows, I think, since season 3 right now. It's going to go to season 4 for its last season. But I'm just happy that they got a 10 episode order. So, this season has been really, really well done. I know I've told you guys that Bitsy Tulek, who plays Lois, has been probably one of my most favorite Loises. She's in the top 3 Loises. And that's just a well-written show. It's great. It hasn't gotten that bad CW thing where Arrow kind of had its downs and goddamn Flash had its downs. And so I'm just happy that today's Superman Day, but we're gonna talk about Spider-Man today. But I'm just happy that Superman Lois is coming back for one final season.
That's cool.
But yeah, who does anybody want to lead us off? Or all right, so we went to go see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse this past Sunday. It's been out for 2 weekends already. It's already made basically whatever the first one made, it's made that money already. Whatever it took 3 months to make, it made in a weekend. So nice. So it's making its money back. Why don't we just start with quick impressions, and then we'll, this is going to be spoilers anyway. We're going to deep dive this Spider Biatch so hard. We're going to whip all over you guys, just webbing all over your face. And so, Alex, why don't you start and tell us what you liked?
It's a good movie. It was fun. I think it hit all the major. Right off the bat, if you want a good Spider-Man movie with a bunch of Spider-Men, never watch No Way Home. Just watch this. Tom Holland took a year off break because he's, 27 years old. He's so old, so he needs a whole year break. Well, I need a lifetime break of that movie and all his Spider-Man adventures.
Wow.
Wow. They decided, let's make a great movie, because why not? Spider-Man's a good character. Let's have a bunch of fun with it and just make a damn good movie. And they did. They put so many Spider-Man and women in here, and it's done well. It's done to a better effect than No Way Home. And they don't need Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield to carry the movie like they had in No Way Home. they just put little snippets of them in here, and it was like, I still got emotional seeing Uncle Ben from the Tobey Maguire verse in there. I was like, you don't gotta show me that. That's gonna make me sad. Like that, having Spectacular come out, and because everyone.
Oh, I guess we're jumping into spoilers already.
Oh yeah, I don't care. But yeah, they put everybody in there and they use them to great effect without relying on the nostalgia to pull them across the Spider-Verse, which No Way Home needed. But yeah, it's a great movie. Everyone comes out of the gate swinging. Nobody's lacking. Everybody does a great job. It almost feels like you're watching like a show, kind of, just because of the way that it starts. Like, it starts with Spider-Gwen, and we just get her whole like origin story, and we just follow her for a while. It takes its time developing a story instead of, I'm just gonna bash No Way Home all day. Instead of, hey, I'm Sandman. You remember me? Hi, Spider-Man. Remember me? Remember me? Oh, I'm Electro. Remember me? Yeah, you gotta remember us, because you know you guys can't make a good movie without us. So
that's a pretty good Jamie Foxx impression you got there.
So it, yeah, I was gonna say something, but no, never mind. But no, yeah, it's No Way Home relied on nostalgia to make a good movie. This movie, like, just it takes everything you loved about all the other ones and it just makes them better. It makes everything matter so much more. And it's a great movie. I will say, I don't think the ending was that great. It feels like, I mean, they did say it was too big of a movie, so they were gonna like slice it into two. But I know, but then you said you didn't know that. So for the people who don't know that going in, I think it's a really bad ending, because I feel like it keeps, like, there's so much gas and so much steam. It's getting to a place. It's heading there. And then it's just like, oh yeah, let's cut it. I think it ends too abruptly, and it doesn't have it doesn't really have a third act. I would be fine if it ended with like a third act, but like there was a cliffhanger ending. But this one was just, I don't know, it just feels like they had so much steam and then it just cuts. I'm sure it'll be a lot better once, part 3 comes out and then you get to see the end, but even with that being the case, it's still a fantastic movie. I enjoyed it thoroughly. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes long, and you don't feel that at all. It's a great movie that pulls you in, and you just want more. Everyone is great. Miles is like getting to be the best Spider-Man of all time. Like, already he's freaking amazing.
There you go. All right. Well, that was pretty good. What about you, Betin?
Ditto.
Yeah, succinct, nice, to the point.
Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same opinion. I don't know if we're doing spoilers. Like, you already know I don't care about spoilers. Like, people watching or tuning into our show, or they already know what to expect.
It'll say in the blurb that this is a spoiler talk anyway, so it's fine. Let's go.
Yeah, no, it's a great movie. Just that ending is bad. Like, I didn't know they were gonna do that. And not a lot of people pay attention to like that kind of news. And hey, be on the lookout for this. Like, I don't even know if they should have added some sort of thing in the beginning, like part 1, or just renamed it. Like,
well, it was originally named, I think, like Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 and 2, but they ended up changing it. Kind of like Infinity War was supposed to be like Infinity Wars Part 1 and 2 before it turned into like Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, that, because at least the way Alex was saying, like, maybe they should have ended it in a different way where it feels like there's an ending, but there's like going to be a repercussion of that decision. You know what I mean? Because as of right now, all it seems is like, well, this is a 2-part thing. And I don't like that. Like, I try to think about Empire Strikes Back, and that to me, I feel like was an ending. things happened, they concluded, and now, but there's more to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how they lead into the third one. But with this one, it just feels like, well, we ran out of time, so watch the next one. And what I worry about the next one is, and like, I have faith in them that it'll be good, but at the same time, what's the next movie gonna be, like an hour long? It's where they're gonna conclude the thing in the beginning, and then the rest of the movie is just like a long goodbye,
Yeah, I think that's kind of why they, I mean, yeah, spoilers, so whatever. Like, I think that's why they added in Prowler at the end, because they're like, shit, I mean, we can finish up the story in the next 30 minutes, so we're gonna need another enemy. So, okay, we're gonna spend time in this reality where there is no Spider-Man or whatever. So I guess that's why, like, they felt like they needed that extra thing. But I don't know. I remember talking to you, Mundine, about this one or whatever. Like, when we saw the trailer for this one, and like Miguel O'Hara's going after Miles all hardcore, and I was like, the way it's gonna end is like he doesn't want him to save everybody, but then Miles being like, I'm gonna do my own thing. He teaches Miguel, like, yeah, you can do it all. You're Spider-Man. Like, he shows him like his youth, like his youthful way of thinking gives Miguel like reinvigoration to be like, you're right, I can do it. Like, we can do this. We shouldn't let people die. And maybe like they could have ended it with maybe Miguel's like he turns and he's like, yeah, let's do it Miles' way, and like maybe he gets caught in like the spot, like they go into a different universe or something, and like it looks like Miguel died for everybody, but Miles is like, no, let's go get him. We're not stopping until we get Miguel back. And maybe that would be like the next one, is they go into another multiverse or something. But
well, I mean, it might happen. It might still happen.
Yeah, but I just think like I like the arc, like he didn't. It feels like he didn't move anywhere. Miguel just stayed the same. He was awesome, but he didn't move. He's just like, let's get Miles. I'm gonna get Miles, and that's it. Like, whenever I look at a movie, I like where people have an arc and they change, and they're different from where they started off. And I feel like all of them kind of stayed where they were. They just moved from this place to that place.
Well, I think. Oh, go ahead. Finish your thought.
Oh, I was gonna just say, because you were bringing up Miguel. The one thing I like really thinking about the movie, it for some reason I kind of feel it goes against Spider-Man. The idea of Spider, I have to try. I can't hold back, and I can't not help. I have to do, it's my job, and I want to. And the fact that like all those Spider-Men and women and animals, like, they make it so, do they make it a point like, yeah, you have to let that happen? Like, that to me seems kind of against the character. And I kind of feel like looking at all those spider whatevers, it's cool, but I almost feel it should have just been Miguel. That's his that's his MO, like trying to fix every event. Since he messed up like his kind of timelines and whatever, he's the one trying to fix it. He's kind of the enemy, but because at this point, like, has Gwen let certain people die because it was her job to let them die? Like, that seems kind of, like, I'm trying not to think about it because I feel like it breaks the whole movie. Because I can't, look, realistically, if you gave this thing to Tobey Maguire, are you telling me that he's gonna sit back and be like, no, you have to let him die? No way in hell would he be like that.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what the crux of the movie, basically. I don't even think we even talked about what the movie is really about, other than, that they're chasing Miles, and basically, yeah, there's the movie is basically free will versus like predestination. Like Miguel is Spider-Man 2099. He's from the future, like an alternate future. So he not only has he kind of like the hindsight. Basically, what they're doing is he created this society of spider people, all the different spider men and women, all the different versions, all the variants from different timelines to come together, because what happened in the first Spider-Verse movie when Kingpin decided to do the particle accelerator, that kind of screwed up everything. People who weren't supposed to be in the specific timeline were in a timeline. Spider-Ham, all of Gwen, Spider-Gwen, Noir, all of them. So then he's trying to clean up, and they introduced the idea of canon, like specific,
Canon events.
Canon events. Yes, thank you. Yeah. So they like, no matter what universe you're in, Uncle Ben is most likely, like, he has to die to teach. And even like Peter B Parker is like, well, you know, without Uncle Ben dying, he wouldn't have taught us, like, with great power comes great responsibility. Because of our inaction, you know, he died. Which, you know, going to what you're saying, Betin, is like basically what Miguel is telling all these other Spider-Man is like, yeah, no, like, we have to let things play out. Like, it's a predestination thing. Like, it has to happen. And the whole thing is, no matter, like, a parental figure always dies. For Miles, it was his Uncle Aaron in the first one. For Peter Parker, it's always, you know, his Uncle Ben. and here they're basically also telling you, not only is that going to happen, but there are certain other events that have to happen within, if you're going to be Spider-Man. It's like, you're probably going to fight Venom. There's going to be an alien symbiote, you know. Your best friend is probably going to turn into a bad guy that has to fight you. And basically, well, your other paternal father figure, who happens to be a cop, for Spider-Man's always been George Stacy. In Miles's world, his dad, who's a lieutenant, is going to become a captain. Gwen's dad is, you know, George Stacy, and he's a captain, and he dies. He died in Amazing Spider-Man 1. So like, and that's what I think this movie does so well is, compared, you know, because Alex loves talking about No Way Home, compared to how they used Toby and like Andrew's movies to build up that third Tom Holland movie, this movie uses everything you've seen. Even if you've seen, if you just played the video game, if you've seen the cartoon from the 90s, if like you've seen just the Tobey Maguire movies, they use everything to build that up, yet they're telling their own story. They're not having Miles
carry this for us. Carry this movie for us.
Like, it's not Miles doesn't have to fight, you know, Alfred Molina, Dr. Octopus. He gets his own villain here, which he created. And it's like, but they use all the stuff that we've seen before, or that we have basic knowledge about, to build it up, yet it's still Miles's story about him coming into his own. But yeah, so basically Miguel's, you know, saying that, yeah, we have to, like, this bad thing happened to me. I thought I could, because I guess he lost his family, and then he looked into the other universes and found a version of himself that died and tried to replace, which is like totally messed up. Like, he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna pretend like you know, that version never died, and he's gonna take his place. And I guess because he did that, like, that universe collapsed upon itself. And so he's like, look, Miles was never supposed to be bitten by that spider. And I think this is what you know, Lord and Miller, the writers and the producers of this movie, have done so great, is go back and watch the first Into the Spider-Verse. And this is why I think part 3 we're fine. Like, I think we're in good hands, because I think these guys planned, like, they must have planned not everything to the T, but enough where it's like, this wasn't something we were talking about retconning, I think, on Sunday too, but then, like, I think you were trying to explain it to Katrina, like, when something that's established in a previous movie, but then they change it into, you know, to fit it into the new version or whatever. In the first Into the Spider-Verse, like, you see that spider number 42. And it glitches before.
Yeah.
and it's glitching before it bites Miles. That there was no reason for it to be glitching other than it was planned. And it wasn't something like they could have easily just had it not glitch and then like, oh yeah, that spider wasn't from your universe, and it bit Miles. But no, like they've been planning stuff out, something that maybe J.J. Abrams didn't do with the Star Wars movies or, what other people do. It's like this is why I enjoyed this one a lot, and kind of like what you guys said, it is great and it builds a lot of time kind of introducing us to the characters, because it's almost like a whole new part one. Like the first movie is almost like a prologue to what the main story is. And I agree that, it's basically first two acts. There's the third act. There's no.
Hello? Undid?
Oh.
Well, there's no third act to that conversation.
That's how the movie ends.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty spot on.
Yeah, that really good way to like show how the movie is. But
wait, can't you hear me? Hello?
Okay,
now
we can.
Oh,
so the last
yeah.
20
I don't know
minutes
what happened.
we didn't hear you at all.
Yeah.
So basically, this movie is building to something, and it does kind of end. To me, it feels like Star Wars. What's it called? The Empire Strikes Back. Because the way I see it, you need to have seen the first Star Wars in order to get Empire Strikes Back. If you were to show somebody, like Empire Strikes Back, like that's my favorite Star Wars movie. But if you showed someone without any context of like Star Wars, they'd be like, "What the hell is going on? Who's Luke?" Is then like they wouldn't know, because you need that first movie to show it. And the way this ends up, basically setting up an entire third movie for the last 30 minutes is basically setting up an entire third movie, and it kind of just ends. But at the same time, I do feel like they made Gwen, her narration in the beginning and at the ending was cohesive enough to, because Gwen, I would say, is like the second lead of this movie. Like it's much her movie as it is
more her
my
movie.
Which is fine, but I mean, we do spend it like you're right. I think the first 20 minutes we spend in like her universe. And you know what? That's fine, because Miles is still felt in the first 20-30 minutes of it, because she's kind of recounting the first movie, explaining her relationship to Miles. And it isn't until the ending of the movie where you kind of realize where she's talking about how she never really felt, part of a band. And then at the ending, she creates her own group of spider people to go save Miles, because he gets lost in a different universe from where the spider that bit him came from. Well, like Miguel is chasing him because basically he wasn't supposed to be Spider-Man. Doesn't want, he's trying to keep him away because he's an anomaly. He might just screw everything up. But the fact that Gwen's narration in the beginning kind of it is completed by the end, because she's basically giving you her sales pitch for like, you know what, Miles is great, we have to save him. And that's basically like it does have an ending in the sense that she has an arc, because she kind of runs away from her problems. And it isn't until like the ending where she's like, no, like I was running away, I thought my dad was gonna die because he's a captain, is that captain paradox or whatever, but something happens. And it's because Miles showed her like, no, like we have to believe that we can do something better. And it's 100% what you guys said is, you're right. They're like, Spider-Man always has to try. He can't never be inactive, because that's how Uncle Ben died. If he is inactive, that's not Spider-Man. But I think because Miguel's like, well, I'm from the future, I've seen what can happen. He's so set in his ways about like, oh, I have the hindsight. But I think he has his own, his own issues he has to deal with. And you're right. Like Miles is going to show him like, dude, compa, hermano, like
Hola,
we
tío,
can
¿qué
do
tal?
it. Yeah.
I know a little Spanish, but yeah, he's great. No, yeah, but then with that, because you brought up like Spider-Man always tries or whatever, and like, why didn't anyone else try? Or like, it's not in them not to try. But I think I think Miguel just picked, like, he, even though there's like thousands of spider people in his universe, I think he was extremely selective as to who to get. That's why Toby's not there and Andrew Garfield's not there, because they'd still try. Like, they would be the people that would be like, no, we're saving everybody. Like, that's what we do. But Miguel already is like, he's like, yeah, this has to happen. Peter B. Parker, the people who died in his reality already died. So he's like, well, yeah, I guess that has to happen. And then Gwen is, she doesn't want to go home because she doesn't want to see her dad die. But, I mean, she's kind of douchey because someone else is going to die, no? Or, like, just because someone else is going to be captain, she's like, oh, it's not my dad, so I'm good.
What? Yeah, I don't care.
But I don't think it's like any captain. I think it has to be like that paternal, like, you have to have a connection with them. Like,
well, yeah, but I mean,
that example.
But I guess I'm just saying that, like, Miguel O'Hara picked the people that he knew wouldn't go against what he thinks needs to happen. That's why the other people that we like, maybe that's why Prince Eric, 90s Spider-Man, isn't there, because he'd do it. And, like, Tobey would do it. Andrew Garfield, Miles would do it. Like, they would go out of their way to try to save everybody. And that's why he's not picking those people. He's picking all the people who think the way he does, so that it doesn't get messed up.
You're right. Like, he's basically Batman. Miguel is basically, I mean, they even make that joke where it's like, who are you? The blue, the Cape Blue Satyr? Like, he's dark, he's blue. You're right, 100%, he's selective. He's always thinking, he's trying to play four-dimensional chess. He's just trying to be like, okay, these are the people that are going to go with me. And that's why I think they use, and I don't know if it works for everybody, but I know it worked, I guess, for me, when you see Josh Keaton back as Spectacular Spider-Man, who is probably, one of the best Spider-Man cartoons ever made, from the early 2000s. And
it is the best Spider-Man.
When he's like, and he's like he comes out of nowhere, is like, Miles, like, no, like, it happened to me. And it's like, Miguel's right. We had, like, the fact that he lost, I guess, he's lost Ben, and his friend Eddie turned into Venom, and so on and so forth. But it's like, he lost another person, and maybe that's what Miguel uses too, is like, the fear is like, if we don't let these small, like, it's a small price to pay to let one person die, it's either that, or like Spectacular Spider-Man's whole group of friends, Gwen and Mary Jane and Harry, and like the whole universe, it's all going to be destroyed. But you just let one person die. It's like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And again, it's I think it's done to great effect in this movie. It's, like, what would you do? Like, deep down, what, like, I guess, I would like to think I'd be like Team Free Will. Like, I will try to do whatever I can. No one tells me, like, oh, he's going to die. Like, if someone told me you guys were gonna die, if and I had to let that happen in order for, for some good thing to happen. Like, no, they're my brothers. I don't care. Like, I will go try to save you guys at the cost of my own life or whatever. And then we figure out the next thing. I can't imagine just being like, no, I have to stand by. But I mean, but maybe there's people out there who do feel like, dude, you're willing to risk everyone in the universe. Not only the people you love, but everybody. Like, who are you to say, to play God, right? Like, you're telling me that my people aren't important? Like, I love my people. Someone else can be like, screw you. Like, if your brother, like, if you have to die in order for my family to live, it's 100%. Like, and I think this movie plays with that, and I guess we're going to continue it into the next one. But I didn't mind the ending. I did feel it went a little long, trying to set things up. Did you guys know where when he gets zapped into the other dimension? Because I guess the whole thing was, if you want to get back to your dimension, you have to go through this like teleportation thing, and it reads your DNA, and that's how it sends you back. But I guess it read the spider's DNA, right? Because it was from So like, did you guys know from right away, like, oh yeah, he's not, like, he went to the different, like, a different universe, or did you guys like, were you guys watching? It's like, what is taking so long for like? Because they do the Silence of the Lambs thing, where like Clarice goes to what's it called, Buffalo Bill's house, and you see the FBI at like about the SWAT team about to come in, and you realize that they're in two different places. Like I did like that, but it did run a little long. But
yeah, I think.
But yeah,
I mean, well, it goes by pretty quick, but she does say like, "Oh, you did something different with your hair."
Yeah.
And the thing that I was looking at, because sometimes I'm really distracted by the backgrounds, and I'm not saying that it's a fault, but
no.
There's always a lot of detail put in the background, and his room looked a certain way, and then when he went into that universe, it looked different, and I was like, yeah, this. And when she said that, like, you changed your hair, I was like, yeah, no, he's somewhere else. But yeah, no, I think that's interesting. I mean, I'm interested to see how that's gonna play out. The thing that I don't get is like why that Miles is like, oh, why would I want to do that? Like, well, don't you care about your dad, that if this guy could save him, like,
nah, it's not his dad.
Yeah, I mean,
I noticed. I think he was in the other one. Yeah, like you said, with the background, because you could tell, like, man, this movie looks so freaking great for no reason other than to be awesome. But like, you know, when you're in someone else's world, like the Gwen Stacy world is like all watercolors, like it's bright pastel colors, like it's great. And then this one, like the world with no Spider-Man. You can, as soon as he got into his room, completely like dirty, bleak, dark, like it was just ugly compared to like
the greens and the purples.
He was wearing the Prowler suit, the big old puffy jacket that he gets on. He was wearing the Prowler suit, and it's like, oh damn, like something's wrong here. And yeah, Gwen Stacy was like right outside his window, and she couldn't hear him, so I was like, oh yeah, okay, they're in two different spots. So yeah, like that's when you know. But yeah, I think it's great. I think that's part of everything. The like, yeah, he doesn't care about Miles' dad because he probably thinks like, oh my, like, because he asked him like, you said your dad's alive. He probably thinks this Miles has it easy. Like he had the life that he never got, you know. So he's like, screw this guy. Like, why do you get to have everything? Like, screw your dad. I lost mine. So I'm under the impression that maybe Aaron is gonna like be a good guy because he's their Uncle Ben, and he's gonna try to help Miles, like the other Miles or whatever. And maybe he dies, and then maybe the Prowler becomes like a good guy in that world. But what I really think that they're gonna do is maybe the Spot is gonna be the Spider-Man for that universe, and like even in that cool ass, what was it called, Mumbaden or something, where that's Spider-Man. Yeah, man, that place was freaking
Manhattan. Yeah.
That place was awesome. That Spider-Man is badass. But when he saved both of them during that canon event, like the disruption or whatever was just a giant hole in the floor, like a giant spot in the floor. So I'm assuming that the Spot is gonna like turn into, like, he wants to be the greatest villain, but maybe he'll be like, well, I don't need to be the villain. Like, maybe I could be the good guy. And Miles is always like, I have an idea. Like, I have a plan to stop him. He wants to be taken seriously. And he could be taken seriously as a hero. So maybe he becomes that hero, and he's the one who absorbs the Spots that are, like, dematerializing all the other universes.
Yeah. I mean, I was just going to toss in that, I mean, we don't know, like, who's to say what's a canon event? Like, if there's a canon event, does that mean there had to have been like Spider-Man Prime or Original, where every other Spider-Man shoots off from? So who's deciding that? And then what's that?
I would assume so. I mean, they kind of mention it the way about canon events and how things have to play out. he calls it, was it like ASM 90, which is Amazing Spider-Man issue number 90, and that's the comic book version. That's the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko, John Romita Jr., you know, all those great writers and artists. Like, I would consider basically the comic book would be Spider-Man Prime.
Yeah, see, that was what I was thinking too. And then I was like, well, what if you meet Stan Lee in part 3 and he's like, can't you just write me an ending? And he's like, all right, enough said. And bam.
Yeah,
But,
true believer.
yeah. But like, you know, at least leaning into that kind of, Alex, with the Spot, who knows, like, if these people were really erased or if they just simply went to another like dimension, and maybe the Spot, yeah, he decides to be a good guy and he brings them back, or you know, like, oh, they left this dimension but they only went to this one, so here they are, you know. But I don't know, I mean, we'll see. I'm for sure looking forward to it, but yeah,
well,
my
then
weakest point was the ending. That's it.
Yeah, that was the but
what,
yeah, other than that,
well,
it was
since you guys brought it up, what did you guys think of Spot being the villain of the movie? He doesn't have that much in here, but I think it's because they were kind of like, he kind of was on, he's in there for the beginning just to kind of set him up, then he's doing his own thing, then he comes back basically as the tease for like he's gonna be the big bad. But what did you guys think of them using the Spot? I mean, I know he hasn't really, I've not read any books with him, you know. The only thing I remember him from was like the 90s cartoon show.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I think it was great. Like, to me, he was always a dumb character. Like, oh, I'm the Spot, and I just put portals everywhere. And but I feel like that's perfect because Spider-Man was kind of a nobody. But it just goes to show that nobody can be someone huge, you know. So with this guy, yeah, they made fun of him, and it's almost exactly like how they make fun of Spider-Man for being a nerd, this and that, and calling him a villain of the week. Like, you know, to them, it's the Spot is a character in Spider-Man's story, and could you imagine, like, that's a huge insult. Like, no, I'm my own story. You know, you ignored me in the first one when I developed all of these kinds of things, and then you didn't even care. Like, a bagel landed on my head, but and you think it's hilarious, but
I throw a lot of food in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Super villain origin story.
But like, yeah, you know, he legit lost everything. Every character has some sort of life, you know. You can't be like, oh, well, that was a nobody. And I think it was played really well, and I'm looking forward to him. Like, and I'm glad it's someone new, you know. It's not, again, Green Goblin, it's not the Lizard again, you know, and
it's not an Iron Man villain.
Yeah. yeah. So yeah, I think it was done really well. And again, yeah, using lesser known characters, I think, helps everything because people don't know what to expect, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I think, like, the Spot felt like Dr. Light from, like, the Teen Titans. Like, everyone always thinks he's a joke. Oh, let's have the sidekicks beat up on him so they can train and feel better about themselves. Like, he's a nobody, he's nothing, he sucks. But then that one issue or that one series where Dr. Light's like, I'm not a joke. What?
Yeah. Identity crisis, when he got his memories back, and when he realized, like, no.
And he just goes toe-to-toe with everybody. The Outsiders, the Teen Titans, himself, by himself. He goes toe-to-toe with everyone. And they need Nightwing to pull everybody together to beat him up. Like, that's awesome. Someone that has been a joke for so long turns into, like, the strongest thing ever. And it's always the people you least expect to be, like, the most dangerous people. Like, Spider-Man is so used to dealing with everybody, you know, like the Vulture, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, all these dangerous looking people. And then, you know, they call this the Spot, are you a cow or like a Dalmatian? Because he looks ridiculous. He looks dumb. But like underestimate him at your own peril. Like don't mess with him. He's a crazy guy. Like like you said, yeah, they're all the villains are insane. Like if you think about them, like they have their own story, and none of them want to be a villain of the week. Like even if they are, they don't want to be referred to as that. And I think hearing that, like, we love when Spider-Man cracks jokes at all the villains. We think it's hilarious, it's funny, but like hearing this guy like tell him like, stop cracking jokes about me, like just shut up and take this seriously, but everyone's like, no, well, I'm just trying to lighten the mood. Like, yeah, but goddamn, like that is so demoralizing, and it'll cause people to break. So like the spot went off, and he's a badass villain, and he's
and then
they
made him look like at the ending when he finds out he can just absorb more black hole. The fact that he kept talking about his holes, I'm like, man, I love this guy just because it's like I would be talking about that. Like can you please stop talking about your holes? You're making everybody uncomfortable. It's just, but then he comes back at the ending, and he looks like an Uzumaki like creation, like Spiral, like just like all these weird like black inky tendrils coming out of him and stuff. And it's like, this guy looks scary now.
That's funny you saying about like the holes or whatever, because who else made that joke was Ant-Man 3 made that joke like 30 times, and it wasn't funny.
Oh, it wasn't funny.
It wasn't terrible. It was and it was, I like that guy. It was Polka Dot Man who was playing that character. But my God, was it the most fun? Yeah, it was terrible. But everything about, he feels like, that's why I'm saying that maybe he'll turn into a hero in the next one. He'll be the Spider-Man in that other reality, because he has like some funny ass rebuttals and retorts to everything. Like when he was robbing the ATM, he's like, please don't do this to me. It's my first time. You're making this experience bad for me. Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to rob you. Let me rob you. Yeah.
Let me rob you. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's... Yeah. If Spider-Man was a bad guy, he would be making the jokes like that. So it's like, he's funny, he's cool, he's witty, he's a scientist. Like, he's everything that Spider-Man is, except he got the bad end of the stick and turned into Polka Dot Man.
Yeah. I think that's pretty much hits it on the head, and I'm excited to see how they're gonna play him out in this upcoming one. Did you guys have a favorite Spider variant character in this one?
I don't know. Andy Samberg was great as Ben Reilly Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was hilarious, but I think, to me, I just couldn't stop staring. Like, seeing it so like amazingly reproduced on screen.
Yeah,
it just looked. I want to be that Spider-Man. I've always wanted to dress up as that one. Like, what, from the 90s? Like, and now seeing it on
like
the big
94
screen,
now.
like, man, that's an awesome design. It's a very simple one, but I love it, and he looked great.
Yeah, he looked awesome.
I mean, sometimes it's a little, I'll allow it, but sometimes it is a little like, dude, I mean, his life has been terrible, clone after clone after clone, and like, what's real, what isn't real, but here they are, like, making fun of him, like, Uncle Ben died, and they're like, yeah, it is funny, but like, dude, that guy's life is miserable.
Yeah,
but if it makes you feel better, they're treating him better than they are now in the comic books, where he lost all his memories. He's like half demon now. He wants to kill Peter. Like they don't know what to do with that poor character. And yeah, it's played for laughs, but like when they go after Miles, like when Miguel's he picks him as his is basically one of his crew. Like, yeah. But I mean, and Andy Samberg, I love that guy. That guy's hilarious. Like, look at my musculature as it grabs you around the neck, and it's just like, yeah, like it's played for laughs, but I guess like endearingly so, because it's like the 90s, how we were so like, no, you don't understand. We were edgy back in the 90s, but
hey, punk. Yeah, punk. I got you, punk.
I will tell you, I was wrong about Spider-Punk. I totally thought he was gonna be a bad guy.
Daniel
I didn't.
Kaluuya, badass. It was great.
Yeah, he was cool.
Yeah, don't you Scooby Doo me. I couldn't understand half the stuff he was saying, but like the times I could, I was like, that. Yeah. And then they made him look like Lenny Kravitz. You bastards! You made like and Miles makes that joke like
under the mask.
I was always this cool or something.
yeah. I think the only thing about him that I was like, there was no need for that was when he left. I quit, and he just like leaves. Like, okay,
well,
you didn't have to tell anybody that.
See, I like that a lot because he, he's against the establishment and that kind of thing. But I did really appreciate that he knows what's going on is kind of wrong, and he's like, well, it's not exactly like I'm helping, but I'm not helping or something. You know what I mean? So he's gonna allow certain things to play out. I did really like that from him. I remember the first time I saw Spider-Punk, I think it was in the video game, and I just thought to myself, like, that's lame. Like okay, Spider-Punk, what? Like someone just decided to put a mohawk and a guitar, but I don't know how he is in the comics or whatever. But in this movie, that was a great character.
Yeah, he's like, I think everything about him was awesome. Like he came in and he's pretty much cool to everybody. Like he kind of gives Miles a little bit of crap at the beginning, but then like right away he tells them when he comes in and plays the guitar and breaks through the shielding or whatever, the first thing he tells Miles is like, hey, use the palms, not the fingertips, it'll help. Right away he's like, hey, just by the way. And that's cool. And then once he sees like when he sees Mayday, he's like, oh, she's a little rebel, I love it, awesome, that's great. And then he sees Miles that's fighting it, and I think there's a point where like Miles is talking back to Miguel, he's like, keep going, like he's rooting for him. And then once he gets into that little spiderweb thing, you see it cuts to him very briefly, but he's like, the palms, he shows him again, he's like, I got you, and he blows up the shielding. That's so good. Like he wants him to win. He's like, yeah, let's get it, Miles, go get it. Like,
see, I thought it was all like he was underhanded in the beginning because you see him stealing stuff from like the Spider Society place, and it's like, what are you doing? It's like, they don't need this. This doesn't look important. Like I'm like, this motherfucker, he's gonna be the bad guy because his secret identity is Hobie Brown, and Hobie Brown is the original Prowler, and like we've seen Uncle Aaron, Miles's uncle. In the first one, he was the bad guy. And I'm like, watch, he's gonna be like, it's a reverse. He's stealing stuff. He's all anti-establishment to the point where he wants to see everything burn. But then, I don't know if that was meant to be like that. And it's cool that you guys saw it. Like, no, he's rooting for Miles. But I was like, no, he's playing everybody. And it wasn't until like I guess we saw the actual Prowler ending with the alternate Miles, where I was like, oh no, they went totally different direction. Like this Hobie Brown Spider-Punk, like he knew Miguel's thing was not gonna work, and like he sees Miguel, he's the anomaly, and that's why he's rooting for him, because he's not supposed to be there, and that's why he should be there. And so that was great, because I know that was Natalie's favorite, because I bought them the Spider like verse toys, and like Natalie just immediately went to Spider-Punk. And
her favorite actually came out. Her favorite one was Penny. I guess, like I told her, like I don't think she'll come out for like a brief second or whatever. But when Penny came out, she's like, she's here. She got so excited.
Yeah, that was.
Oh, that's good. I did snap at her because, and I feel bad because I was like, she came up at the ending where they're doing the whole like he's in the alternate universe. And Natalie comes out. I'm like, Natalie, like the movie's about to finish. Like, what is it? And she's like, can I ask you a question? I'm like, not right now. Like, the movie's about to end. Like, go back to your seat. She's like, but it's a question about the movie. I'm like, Natalie. And I'm like, and I guess I knew what she was going to ask. She's like, if you're going to ask me if this is Uncle Aaron from the comic books in the Ultimate Universe where he's a bad guy and he treats Miles like shit, yes, this is probably that version. She's like, okay, that's all I wanted to know. And she went back. And I'm like,
She was asking so many like good questions throughout the movie. Like I wasn't even mad. It wasn't even like like you'll know, just like sit down. But like one of the questions she asked was like canon event. So she's like, okay, well I have uncles, and I guess one of them might die because that would be Uncle Ben. But who would be the dad? Like who would be the captain figure that would die? Because I don't know any captains. And I was like, well,
Yeah.
I guess that makes it like how. And then this was before Gwen Stacy's dad is like, I'm not captain anymore, and she's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's the way we go around it. So I was like, oh, look,
Yeah.
man, you solved the problem before the movie ended.
Yeah.
Like, that was good. You just don't take the promotion. Just live in poverty.
There you go.
You're fine.
That's what I was thinking after the movie, and I'm like, what is he gonna do for money now? Like, he has to provide for his daughter. Like, freaking drum equipment is not like cheap,
Especially if you just leave
but-
it there.
right? But I think if anything, Spider-Gwen, I went in already wanting to like love Miguel because like automatically Latino Mexican, you know, he looks like Batman Beyond, even though he predates Batman Beyond. He's a badass character, and I could see myself in him a little bit just with the yelling, like, God damn, no, ya cállate, shut up. Like the way he talks to everybody, just like, I can't with you, I can't. What am I supposed to like? So, but if anything, Miles, I think I love Miles more than anything now. And like, I'm Team Miles. Like, I can't. That kid, Shamik Moore, brings him to life. He knows how to, even though he's like almost 30, he's playing a 15-year-old. He brings like this softness, but like this, like I don't know, there's exuberance to him, and it's just like, yeah, like he's like, you have to let me go. I have to go back. I can't. When he tells Miguel like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing. You don't tell me what to do. I'm like, boom, like in all the way.
Yeah, I kind of wish I never saw any of the trailers because that happened so late, and you know it's coming. So I wish I didn't see that. But yeah, I mean it's good. It's good times. The only thing I'm disappointed in is they didn't have Beatles versions of Spider-Man to say across the Spider-Verse. That's the
I
only
was
thing
surprised.
they knew.
Maybe they thought that was too easy of a joke. I don't know, but or maybe it'll be in the deleted stuff if they have deleted. I'm sure they must have a bunch of deleted stuff in this thing because I don't know if you guys saw the alternate version of Into the Spider-Verse. I forget. I think what it's basically the storyboards of like scenes that they cut out. Like Miles' best friend is Genki, which, you know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man trilogy stole and turned him into Ned. But like
They just
Genki,
steal everything.
yeah, they repurposed it. They repurpose it. Like Genki is in the Into the Spider-Verse. A big part. If you watch the alternate version, and again, it's like it might be a little difficult because there are a lot of storyboards, but like they do the voices are there and stuff. And even I think if you finish watching it, they're like, wow, you guys saw the whole thing. Well, we really appreciate it. Thank you. But like, there has to be more stuff to this movie. And there's tons of Easter eggs in here for every Spider-Man fan, young and old. Alex or Betin mentioned the 90s Spider-Man with the polo shirt. That's
Hell yeah.
Gwen's Peter, the one that turns into the lizard, is wearing the polo shirt. When they're like holding hands, like saying grace, he's wearing the 90s polo shirt.
Yeah.
It's like, you have to keep watching this movie over and over because of everything they put into it. They brought Miss Chang or whatever from the Venom movies, and like she did not give an F. Like the spot goes to her universe. I'm like, holy shit, they're doing live action stuff in this movie.
I'm
and it's
so
like,
glad they put her in that. Tom. God.
See, like
But
that just goes to show that they could have easily put Venom in, but no, they put her in, and you know, it's not over the top. It's not too on the nose, you know.
Yeah. It does such a good job. But you saying that the Tom Holland one like steals, I feel like this one stole kind of the story from the Tom Holland one, and it made it a good story because the No Way Home one is like, we could save everybody. We could save everyone else's villain because I don't have any of my own.
Yeah.
And this one is like, I can save them both. And like, yeah, this is a really well done, well written story. And I don't know why people give people jobs for the Tom Holland movie. I don't get it. I don't know why.
But this one does, I think, a better job at playing with, like, same thing with
It does a
Multiverse
job.
of Madness. This does the job of playing with the best multiverse movies is probably these Spider-Verse movies and Everywhere Everything
all
All at Once.
Yeah.
And they had like the whole movie is almost like a companion piece to this, because I think there's a nod to it on a billboard in there, but they named it something else. Like they had, I forgot what the name of it. It's like Every What, Everywhere, Every Why, all together or something. And then like the bagel, which is a big part. I don't, Bettina, have you seen? Yeah, you haven't seen the movie, right? The Everywhere All at Once.
I saw it.
Oh, you saw it. Okay, well, like the whole bagel thing, like that basically created a supervillain, and the bagel is like a big part for some reason in this movie too. Like in the Spider-Man verse movies, they're like, it's a big thing. It's like, because it's all like a circle, like it's all, you know, everything comes around, goes around. And I don't know, man, this movie, I will still say the first one is my favorite because it's contained. It is a contained beginning, middle, and
perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. And this one, like they gave them and I'm surprised because the first one did not make like money, you know, like, because I think we're all like, what, like Sony really, like, you guys don't have a good track record. They still really don't when it comes to live action, you know, like the Morbius, and I can't even get through that movie. The Venom ones are like hit or miss.
Fantastic. It's Morbin time.
You caught that joke. I didn't even realize they were when they're talking about Miguel, and it's like, oh, he's a vampire but a good guy. I pay money to see that, like,
yeah,
because nobody else paid for Morbius. But yeah, no, I mean, I think this is a love letter almost. And I know you don't like this movie, Alex, but like the Lego movie, where it again extrapolates everything from Batman's like 80-year history. And you know, they have it out there whether it's callbacks or like themes, but you know, they do playfulness with it. This movie has everything, like stuff for kids, stuff for us older fans, you know, fans of the light. Again, the fact that they were able to add the live action stuff and not make it like feel like, oh, it doesn't
crazy.
Look right, you know, like
yeah,
and I don't know, I like. Where else can they go? The next one's beyond the Spider-Verse. Like, where does it go? Like, do we get Shamik Moore and Haley Steinfeld and Julius Pepperwood? You know, do we see them as the live action versions of their Spider characters? Do we get an actual live action Miles Morales played by a new actor for the Tom Holland universe? You know, do we get Toby and Andrew?
Anybody from the Tom Holland universe, I'll be fine.
Look, I like Tom Holland. Those movies, not my favorite, but like I still want to see Tom Holland. I think he can do. I think now that no, you do know when they make Spider-Man 4. I'm calling it right now. That when Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland happens, and since everybody forgot that he's Peter Parker, you know his name is going to be Ben Reilly. You know he's going to be going by Ben Reilly.
Don't give them ideas because they're going to. That makes sense. Oh, let me write it down. God,
they're gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna basically do the Clone Saga and stuff, where he's gonna be called Ben Reilly because nobody remembers Peter Parker.
No, they wouldn't do it. They do it now because you said it. But if you just let them to their own devices, they just feel like, oh, what happens in the next Spider-Man movie? Oh, I know. Peter Parker whines to one of the superhero friends, and then he fights an Iron Man villain. That's that's the basis of their storylines.
He fights that's why 10 ring guy.
Yeah, I mean that. God, who hasn't he fought? Oh, all of these people. Vulture again. Got it.
God. You know, can I just say real quick, when Miles went into his dorm with Genki was playing Spider-Man on PlayStation 4 or 5, and
he was playing the second one, right?
Oh, I don't know if it was the second one, but either way, Miles comes out in it. So what?
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
Well,
maybe
Spider-Man from that video game came out.
yeah.
yeah, that's true too.
So yeah, I mean
So
that guy's yeah. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, did you know, Vadim, that's Prince of Persia, the guy who talks Spider-Man, Yuri Lowenthal?
No, I didn't know that. The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's the prince. I was like, oh yeah, that's awesome. But that's cool.
Isn't that Superman from Legion of Superheroes?
I don't know,
I think he
maybe.
talked.
Oh, that sounds
I think
right
so.
too.
But yeah, that
I
guy's
think he's
awesome.
the voice.
He's a good Spider-Man from that game. He plays him well. I don't think that game is that great, but yeah.
All right. Well, let me
There's
ask
been
this.
so. Yeah.
Well,
Go ahead.
is there anything or anyone you didn't care for in this one? Like, I could have done without that or whatever.
Yeah, there's so much to talk about this movie. I don't know. I loved everything. The
Is
parents. Huh?
Is this a two-parter? We're already at
Oh, yeah.
62 minutes. Oh, damn. It's weird that it's...
When
Is
does it?
let me
When does it
continue.
end? Is it gonna cut off?
It should have. I didn't even realize.
Oh. Oh, maybe it doesn't.
Well,
We'll just keep going.
until it just abruptly ends.
Like,
Yeah, and then
Spider-Man.
we'll just finish it real quick.
I mean,
Well,
that's how-
exactly. Yeah, we'll just. But we didn't even talk about like Miles's. I love his parents. Like, they just want the best for him. I love that the mom gets upset when they tell Miles that he's getting a B in like
Eso es imposible.
Spanish, and then and then she snaps her fingers. You see the Puerto Rican flag like come out. Like all of Puerto Rico's like upset with him. And so like I love their interaction. Some of the best parts of this movie wasn't even him like doing Spider-Man stuff. It was just him interacting with his parents, like just talking about like him trying to get to his dad's party, his promotion party, and just getting upset with them. And it's like, yeah, just them talking about his mom telling him how no matter what she's afraid of is that there's going to be people that are not rooting for him, and that they're always like his parents are always rooting for him, like no matter where you are. And it's a big crux of it because like Miguel tells him like you're not even supposed to be here, and his mom told him before that. And this is what it's so great about this movie is they set stuff up, they pay stuff, pay it off. And it's like
so good.
you show them that you're meant to be there.
Yeah, I love that. Again, this is why Tom Holland Spider-Man sucks, because he is a silver spooned, like, hey, oh, you need money, Tom Holland? Here's $1 billion. Here's a new costume. Here's a new mansion. You can have anything you want. And that totally goes against everything Peter Parker, everything Spider-Man. And like, Miles is everybody. He's everyone. He's the kid that gets picked on, that gets bullied, but he's a good kid. He's smart. He's trying to make it. And everyone's like, you're nothing. Like, you're nobody. You're like, even the way that the college counselor is like, okay, we're gonna say that he's a impoverished like minority making it through. Like, you need to put that. Like, he's like, they were like, well, we make money. Like, we've never gone hungry, But that's the story that they give him. And like, I love that when the mom tells them that like you need to show them that you belong there. And then like Miles, man, he went against everybody. Even his friends were going like trying to catch him, but he beat them all. He's like, stop running, like you got a plan. I do got a plan. I like, awesome. He is showing everybody how awesome he is. And then he tells his mom, like, that's one of my favorite lines, like, I'm not afraid, Mom. I can do it. I know I showed them all. I can do it. That's freaking awesome. Like, hell yeah, Miles, show everyone you're a beast. And he's badass. He's your everyday character that just supersedes.
He's basically like how Peter started off in the 60s and even like in the Ultimate 2000s. Like, how he was picked on and bullied. Like, yeah, Miles is like the new generational like Spider-Man. Like he has the same trappings as like Spider-Man. He's smart, he's witty, but he might have some of those things that endear everyone to like the Peter Parker Spider-Man. But again, he is his own character. His upbringing is different from Peter's, you know, and his is more even like familia, more family based. Because even though Peter loves Aunt May, it's always like they're not really hanging out. Like he dotes on her, you know. He's like he wants to make sure Aunt May's okay. But like I can't see them like hanging out. Like I can see his parents going out, you know, to dinner or, you know, just hanging out or whatever. And it's just the commute. And Miles, unlike Peter, was not a loner. Not like Spider-Man's always been a loner, but like Miles has friends. Like he's part of his community. You know, there's people there. People love, you know, they talk to him. Peter has always been kind of a loner, but that's because, you know, he was picked on and stuff. But yeah, like you're right. Like there's a whole new Spider-Man, and I think this version, again, when he first came out, I was like, oh cool, there's a new Spider-Man, whatever. But I get more endeared every time I see, I guess, this version of Miles.
Yeah, I think they wrote, like, I remember reading that comic. I think you bought it, Mundine, where Spider-Man or Peter Parker meets Miles or whatever for the first time, where he goes to his universe or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I remember just thinking like, yeah, it's fine, like, whatever, sure, I guess, like, it's not a bad story, but like I didn't care. Like he didn't do anything to like make me feel like, oh yeah, he's a fantastic character. But I mean, straight from the first one, he's so good. Like he's great. Like he is all, like he's making his way to the top Spider-Man. Like I think Spectacular and Tobey Maguire and then Prince Eric 90s Spider-Man are like my favorite Spider-Man. But this guy is like, he's making his way to the top really damn quick. Like he's awesome. Miles is freaking awesome. He deserves everything. He's badass. He has no right to be that badass, but he's great.
Yeah. And then what else? Anything else, Betin? I think.
No, I think we covered it pretty well. I mean, it's a lot to go through. It's so many characters, but I think enough said.
All right. Well, then we'll catch you on the website. Is that a thing? Do people take? No one says
no. No one says. No one says that. What does he say? No one my age.
No one my age says those words in that order.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think this is one of our better episodes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Go watch the effing movie. Go watch it. If you have tons of money, keep watching it. Oh man. Oh man. But yeah, I can't stop singing this movie's praises. We didn't even talk about like the colors and everything, but goddamn,
it looks freaking amazing. It's a beautiful looking. It's the best Spider-Man movie since Part 2 of Sam Raimi. Not the other one, not Far From Home, not that Part 2 or Amazing Spider-Man 2, but yeah, the best one since Spider-Man 2. Oh,
hot take. I don't need
them. Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse, fantastic. But Part 2 is still this.
All right. Well, did you guys? All right. Well then, thank you guys. We love you. Go watch the movie, and we'll see you guys later.
We'll whip you guys later.
Oh yeah.
All in the face.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay. All in your holes.
Okay, that's all right.